I was really forced to kind of come out of my shell. I think everyone else will probably say I'm not the most social of people.
Randy told me, he goes, "You're gonna be working for me. I'm gonna come back here, I'm starting my own film production company, and you're gonna be working for me."
I love that. There was one of the pieces that I had showed Randy that I had put together called Changes. And I kind of built it just as like a personal reminder, because I'm real big on that saying, like, you're not really able to master something until you can teach it. So I was trying to teach myself like how to let go of things so that I can make space for more creativity, more things that I actually enjoy. And upon showing Randy and Chasen those pieces, they really, really loved it. And that was one of the big things that kind of got me on board with Fallen Giant, because they saw the potential.
After I got off my shift at working security at the Target, and I said, Randy, I don't think I need to be here to do what I want to do. And that was when he told me about wanting to bring the industry back to Nebraska and his whole plan for starting a production company. My background is in security, and there is a few things that I brought over from my 10 years working security to the film industry. One of them being scheduling, logistics, making sure everyone on the team has what they need to be successful. I mean, when we're building a shoot schedule, it is labor intensive, and there are a million more pieces to put together than there was in the security industry, which just simply is the shift covered. You have to have a shift covered in multiple departments.
Being a member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity and becoming a member, I learned a lot from my peers, but then also my mentors within Kappa, which really taught me how to break the barrier of not being vulnerable. So it allowed me to, which expanded upon my creativity. But one thing also, it's made me like fearless almost. So one thing I like to do is I like to push the limits to see what I'm capable of, because I feel like if I don't, I'll never know what I can actually handle.
For Omaha not to be known as just a flyover state or flyover city would be just to get the word out. When I was in LA, I always had to defend where I was from, and I would spit out the facts. I'm like, we have Warren Buffett, we have the College World Series, Forbes magazine ranked us #1 city to move to. But just getting the message out, so making our voice louder, which takes time just to like prove to people our worth. And then, yeah, like, I mean, just, I wish I knew this opportunity even sooner, but it kind of was perfect timing when I moved back. But I probably would have moved back from LA sooner. I did appreciate parts of LA, but overall I knew it wasn't where I didn't want to end up there.
I mean, I wish I could explain why I love film, but honestly, I think my love of film goes back so far that I don't even remember what started it all. That was what I did when I was a little kid, 3, 4 years old. I'd watch movies, and after I'd watch the movies, I'd go and I'd watch all the behind the scenes. I wanted to learn everything about it. In my free time, all the time, that's all I would do, is I'd learn more about film. I'd learn more about how they're made. Every single aspect of filmmaking, from pre-production all the way through post. When we were first starting, Randy kind of gave us the choice of, he let us pick our own path, what we wanted to do. And I initially thought I wanted to go down the cinematography route. It was the part that I probably knew the least about, but cinematography has always been my favorite part of film. So I thought, well, it's my favorite, that's what I want to do. I very quickly learned that it's not what I wanted to do. I still love cinematography probably more than any other part of film, but it's just, it's not what I personally wanted to do, and I didn't enjoy doing it. What made me want to be an editor was I actually watched Martin Scorsese's Masterclass, and when he gets on the segment of talking about editing, the way that he talks about editing really sparked an interest for me, because I mean, he says far and away it's the most important part of filmmaking, because it's where it actually becomes a film. Editing's actually where, you know, this raw footage and audio come together to actually become a film. Hopefully, within the next 4 or 5 years, hopefully I can get to the point where my technical abilities just learning how to work with the systems like Premiere and DaVinci and, you know, all these other filmmaking tools. I hope to get to the point where my technical proficiency matches my knowledge of film. Because I know, in my head, I know what movies are supposed to look like, and I know what I want to make. It's just getting the technical proficiency up to where it meets that point, and hopefully that's within the next 4 or 5 years. One of the reasons I like being around Jay and Alec and Chasen every day is that every time I see them try to learn something new or improve on their abilities, watching them do it keeps pushing me to constantly keep getting better every day. It takes away any sense of complacency, because I know that they're going to keep getting better at what they are doing, so I have to keep getting better at what I'm doing.
Through my journey, I have definitely locked in the fact that I aspire to be a DP. As my computer says, the greatest DP of all time. Through my process in learning how to actually flow into that role, I feel like there's a lot of minute details that needs to be learned, not only about camera, but lighting. So I do a lot of reading, but then a lot of like practical practice too. And Fallen Giant plays a big part in that, because I always get the opportunity to express the things that I've learned through different lighting setups, through the camera, but also I'm learning a lot faster than I normally would, just by doing it on my own. So I'm able to like ask the questions, I'm able to see it being done on a professional level. So like when we were out in LA, I kind of got to mentor, or not mentor, but be a sponge to Chris Duddy and watch how he worked, who has worked on quite a few films. And I probably wouldn't have had that opportunity if I wouldn't have got on board with Fallen Giant. With my colleagues here, especially Alec and Michael, those are my guys right there. I feel like we've definitely bonded quite a bit and gotten to understand each other on a professional level as well as like a personal level. So we all kind of understand like the struggles that we have with things. I also think all of us, including myself, may underestimate sometimes what we're actually capable of. But I feel like it's a lot easier for us in this space because, one, we all have the same goal in mind, but then also we have people around us that want us to be successful. So I feel like we all kind of pick things up very, very swiftly. So it's also like a mental thing too. So one thing we gotta do is like, no matter what comes at us while we're on set, I feel like we learned that we always have to adapt to whatever our environment is. And I think we all do a really great job of that. Alec, as far as making sure everybody has all the tools that they need to be successful. Being able to learn from Corey on how to be a cam operator on that set was great, because we were also in a lot of like unorthodox environments, like going 70 miles an hour on a boat, holding the camera on the shoulder, just still trying to get good shots. And then giving everything we've got for the day to Mike and him making sure it's organized and everything for us. I feel like we definitely worked very efficiently. Being that we just got done with our show, No Trespassing, going down through Texas, Oklahoma, and within 28 hours going out to LA to work on like our first big film set, which was super exciting, yet humbling at the same time. I began as a PA, a production assistant, so just kind of helping out, making sure doors were locked down, making sure all the small details that the major components of the crew shouldn't have to worry about were taken care of. And from there, I was trusted to handle all of the BTS for like the last shoot, most of the whole shoot actually. I think only the first day or two I was mainly PA, and then from there we transitioned into BTS, and through that everybody kind of seen some of the things I was working on. So with that I got to actually do drone for one or two of the shots within the film. So I was trusted to do that, and now I get to get my first major film credit along with the other guys we have on the team. And for that to be our first one coming out the gate, you know, it kind of sets a standard for us to continue to live up to, which will be a fun journey to go after. I think with bringing film to Omaha, one of the things that we may struggle with is a lot of times in Omaha you get people who set these limitations on themselves because it's not big here yet. So it's one thing it's gonna take is for us to just really be consistent and resilient with bringing film to Omaha, for people to understand that it's going to happen. And once we start that push, I believe it'll be like the 100th monkey effect, where now everybody within those different communities will start to actually cling to it because they'll see that it's possible.
I would say a year and a half ago, I would never want to watch anything that we produced a year and a half ago or created. I mean, Jeff, I'm being completely and blatantly honest. There was a lot of learning curves, I think, and things were a little rough. We learned a lot of hard lessons a year and a half ago. Bringing in people from other markets like Atlanta or Los Angeles, they really raised the bar of what was to be expected. And there was very few players in Omaha who were able to meet that standard. And I mean, lucky for us, there was an even smaller percentage of those who wanted to learn how to meet that standard, and they've kind of stuck with us and they've grown with us on those shoots. But so when we went out and filmed in Los Angeles, it was definitely a bucket list accomplishment to say that not only are we working in the film industry, but we were actually working in LA. It was vastly different from Omaha in the essence that it had the infrastructure. Even though a lot of headlines are saying that it's falling apart and people are going elsewhere, a lot of that infrastructure was still there. So if something was needed on set, it was kind of a quicker fix than it would have been back in Nebraska. I would also say that because of that, it was way more fast-paced. Like if you were sent on a run to go do something, you were called at least 3 or 4 other times by different departments to pick something up or grab something, just because you could hit multiple areas on a route and come back with everything that the crew needed. I would also say that it kind of highlighted what we lack in Omaha a lot. We really got to think more outside of the box when we're back home in the Midwest than I think that we had to when we were working in a place that had everything that we needed. The thing that I found interesting about that was with the relationships that we made on set. A lot of people, because work is going elsewhere, were asking us what the work was like in Nebraska and if there was work that they could kind of follow us back home with. I would say my expectation of Omaha coming back not just the community, but kind of the film community, would be it's time for everyone to level up.